Baker said, if you're very quiet, you sit in the woods, that's also going to be the best way for your best chances of getting a deer on opening day. Here's some tips on how to do it. When you think about it, a man walking through the woods can't really spend any time at all looking for deer with any accuracy. Deer know what the woods look like as they go. That's where they live 24 hours a day. But man's eyes are actually confused by all those trees. Unless you spend a lot of time in a particular area, everything takes on a similar look. Every time you take a step, the entire woods looks different. The trees all appear to move. And if you don't want to make any noise, you have to look down at your feet, and that's time you're not looking for deer. You'll be a more successful hunter unless you're really experienced at stalking if you sit still. Let the deer do the moving. Number one rule for keeping warm and comfortable in the woods is carrying everything you need for the day with you in a day pack. Food, snacks, extra socks, clothing, rain gear, especially your heavy clothing. Now, I don't care how far you have to walk. Do not wear your snowmobile suit or coveralls and sweater and scarf when you walk back to your blind. You're going to sweat, and that'll make you miserable all morning. If your boots make your feet sweat, carry them to the blind, especially if they're snowmobile-type felt-pack boots. If your head starts getting warm, take your hat off by all means, because keeping dry means keeping warm. And don't rush back to your blind. Take it easy. Make a minimum amount of noise and work up the least amount of perspiration. And ideally, you really should be in your blind on opening day a half hour before sunrise. And putting on dry clothing at your blind, even changing your socks, will make a big difference in your comfort. Now, let's talk about that blind. Ron Bacon hunted from this blind successfully every year for 9 years. And as you learn about this blind, you'll see the advantages of a well-planned, well-constructed blind. If you have a blaze orange vest, you can change into a regular hat. Ron prefers this style here because it keeps the sun out of his eyes, rain out of his face, and it keeps it from running down his neck. It also allows him to hear, which sometimes tips you off when a deer is approaching from behind you. In the blind, high-energy foods are the rule. They give you energy, a bit of warmth, help keep you awake. In addition to the sandwiches and chips, take some snack foods, apples, cookies, chocolate bars, canned juices, and take plenty. Rather than eating several big meals, it's better if you nibble as the day goes on. You can stay more alert. And you never know on opening day when that deer will make its appearance. At 10 or 11 in the morning when hunters are going back to camp, at 1 or 2 in the afternoon when they're coming back in the woods, this activity can spook deer, and if you're alert and waiting, this might be the time you get your big buck. Now, this blind is one that Ron Bacon has used year after year, made basically from pine stumps and limbs. He fills the cracks with ferns and branches each season. It's large enough so he can get up, turn around, walk back and forth, yet the only part of him that's visible from the outside is his head. A number of logs are laid parallel to the ground, used as rests for shooting, and visibility is 360 degrees every direction. What a blind. From a deer's point of view, you can see the visibility lanes. Limbs were trimmed off of trees, so Ron has a number of these lanes, some as long as 150 yards where visibility is open. No twigs are hanging to deflect shots, and believe me, this is one technique that can make a lot of difference in your success. Don't try to pick a shot through all the brambles. Wait until that buck steps into one of your visibility lanes. And like I said, Ron got 9 deer from this blind in 9 years. Now, under your feet, this doesn't matter if you have an elaborate blind or you're just standing by a tree for an hour or two. Clear all the leaves and sticks out of the way so you're just standing and moving on the forest floor. Now, I'd bet that this November 15th, thousands of deer will be spooked by the sounds hunters make as they turn around or just move their feet one step to get in position for a shot. Leaves rustle, branches crackle underfoot, and the deer is gone. Take 30 seconds when you arrive and go ahead and make the noise, but scrape those leaves away so you can move a step or two in all directions silently. Another big consideration is the wind. If your scent is blowing to the east, don't bother looking for deer to approach that direction, but from the south, north, and west, they just might. And remember, air currents tend to move uphill in the mornings, downhill in the evenings. The deer's sense of smell is incredible, and more than anything else, that would be the factor that'll generally give you away. Now let's talk about that gun in the blind. Of course, you want to make sure the safety is on and the muzzle is pointed in the safe direction. The nice thing about a blind like this is you can have it resting in a safe spot where you can reach for it when you need it, and you won't be seen. But another nice thing, an important thing, is to keep your hands warm, keep them off that cold metal. Hunting all day in a blind can get a little boring at times, especially after a bit of snacking, not seeing deer for a few hours, and when that sun comes out, well, don't be afraid to take a nap. That's one of the joys of deer hunting. Just think about how many deer pass in front of you while you're snoozing, though. But some hot coffee might keep you alert. Another nice thing about a blind this size is the fact you can get up, walk around, stretch. You could probably even put your right foot in, take your right foot out, do the hokey pokey if you want. I suppose even turn yourself up. I mean, that's up to you. But in a blind like this, you have plenty of room to do it. Keep in mind that if you stay still opening day and let the deer do the moving, let other hunters move the deer, your chances are greatly improved for success. Cut some visibility lanes, build a blind large enough to move around in. Take everything you need for the whole day in a day pack. Don't wear your heavy clothes as you walk in. Try not to touch the metal of your gun unnecessarily. Keep alert. And even if you don't get a deer, you'll enjoy your opening day in the woods. But if you are lucky enough to get your deer opening day, hey, you can share a tradition with everybody in the deer camp. Opening day deer liver. It is great.